De-stressing for the NHS with your host, Dr. Phil Parker.
Hi and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about a very specific aspect of how to get stressed, which is being overwhelmed. People often ask me, they say, we know that stress isn't very good for you, but how come when I go to Alton Towers and I'm on roller coasters all day, which I love, I feel fabulous? Well, there's some research that suggests the answer to this, which is some things appear to us like a challenge and some things appear to us like a threat. If something is like a challenge, it means that we feel that we have the kind of requisite skills to deal with it, and it's kind of interesting, we've got stuff to do, but we can get through it. Something that feels like a threat feels like it's just too much, we haven't got what's required, it's going to beat us rather than we're going to overcome it. And this is really what overwhelm is about. Overwhelm is when it feels like there's too much. These are the key words you want to notice in your head: too much or so much. As soon as we hear those words, we're already in overwhelm. With overwhelm, everything seems to be difficult. It's just too much to do. Again, the research suggests we can probably process about 7 pieces of information in one go. Anything more than that and something slips off the list in one direction or another. Overwhelm is when we have too many pieces of information for our brain, we just can't process it. It obviously is affected by stress and sleep deprivation. Those things will make us less able to process stuff as well. So how do we deal with being overwhelmed? Well, the first thing is to spot it. So notice some of those words, it's too much, there's so much to do, or maybe there's a little internal sigh like, ah. All these things will tell us. Maybe our shoulders are very tight near our ears. Once we've noticed it, we've got a chance to do something about it, so we have to spot it. Second thing to do is this. When we think about overwhelmed, it's like we're being attacked, and I do it to the camera. Loads and loads of pieces of information like coming towards us, swirling faster and faster and faster. And that makes us kind of feel like we're being flooded and just suffocated by all this information, and that's pretty much what goes on. Stops our breathing, makes us feel all just gunged up. So instead what you need to do is you want to put your hands in front of you and kind of move them towards you very fast, which represents how we kind of have all these thoughts coming towards us faster and faster and spinning, and move your hands quite fast. So you're starting to basically physicalize what your mental processing is doing. And then as you do that, then slow your hands down so that they're moving at half the speed. They're still kind of rushing towards you, but at half the speed, and then slow them down even more so they're about quarter of the speed, and then slower and slower and slower until they still. And as you still them, notice how my voice slowed down at the same time. What will happen is your brain processing will just start to clarify. And instead of having everything rushing towards you, what you've done is you've actually slowed things down, so now you can see what you're looking at. Then what you need to do is pick one of the things. Focus on that. Imagine that's just in front of you. Pay attention to that. Allow the other things to fade to the side. So this is the thing that takes your field of vision. And work out a strategy to resolve that. Because when things are kind of flowing and it's free fall, we can't do anything about it. There's too much. Let's fix that. Oh, what about this? And we get distracted. What we need to do is actually slow things down so we can go, right, this thing first, I'll resolve that, and then I'll move on to the next thing. Once we do that, it moves from being a problem, from being a threat, to being more of a challenge, something that we can go, okay, I know what to do with this. I've just got to do this, this and this. I can do this now. I can't do this until I get this back from somebody else, so I'm going to have to park it at that point. And suddenly it moves from being this kind of storm, this tsunami of information coming towards you, to just being one thing at a time. And at that point it becomes manageable. And this is one of the key questions you want to ask yourself. If you notice yourself feeling the experiences of being overwhelmed, which is, what's the first step? What's the first thing I need to focus on? As soon as we think this, we move from to okay, I know I'll do this and that, and then when I've done that, I can park it or move it to one side, and then I can approach the next task. If you talk to professional athletes, this is how they deal with fast moving bits of information on a football pitch or hockey pitch or baseball. They're able to slow things down and see things bit by bit. So use that strategy. Anytime you notice yourself feeling stressed, heart racing fast, tight shoulders, you find yourself saying too much, so much, or oh God, catch yourself, slow things down. Once you've slowed it down, ask yourself, what is the first step? I hope you find that useful. When you apply that, you will find everything becomes a little bit more simple.
I do hope you found this episode useful. Please do share it widely with your friends and family. And thank you for everything you do.